Hello friend, welcome to the Crazy Verse Recap. Today we are talking about Lin. And Lin is an orphan who lost his mother in a car accident and his father due to a gambling debt. While celebrating his 18th birthday, an old man breaks into his apartment and takes him to the spiritual world, giving him the warboard system. The powerful elder then decides to explain the situation to him. Lin possesses the real spiritual eyes, giving him the chance to practice cultivation in the top magic academy of the spiritual world. Furthermore, the system can only be seen by him, making it somewhat of a cheat skill. Lin quickly understands the situation and accepts the chance. The elderly man then disappears. After giving him a recommendation letter, he later notices a teleportation portal in front of him. He tries to touch the portal but ends up absorbing the energy. A beautiful girl suddenly jumps out to the portal and steps on him. She introduces herself as a Zaolin of Vermilion Bird set and thanks him for saving her. They enter the academy and notice all students gathering up for an aptitude test. The test determines their cultivation level and the class from 1 to 100. When they touch a mirror called Lustrous Divine Monolith, Zaolin leaves for her turn and is assigned to the class 1 by Light class. During his turn, Limbus hands his recommendation letter to the instructor Miss Evie, who noticed that his recommendation letter is from Luke, a legendary immortal master who reached a level above God. And numerology instructor Min will start to claim that Lin will bring miracles to the spiritual world, only to increase Lin's hope as he never cultivated before. As soon as he touched the mirror, the instructor revealed he became a living legend. He has no cultivation level at all. Worst student in the history. Whoever got assigned to a class 1, dumbstruck Lin returned to his place filled with disappointment. While feeling the hatred of all students toward him, he gets criticized by all students for becoming a class 1 student with a cultivation level lower than theirs. A student challenged him to fight, but Javelin takes him away before he gets into some fight in his dormitory room. He checks the Borgod system and started to complete the system quiz. The quiz requires him to do a certain amount of push-ups. He completes the quiz one by one and level up to the third stage of cultivation. He asks the system for the next quiz and gets shocked when the system reveals he needs to do 10 billion push-ups. Lin thinks this quiz is impossible to complete and goes out to ask Zaolin for some advice. While heading to her room, a man suddenly ambushes him and tries to punch him multiple times, but he easily dodges and takes advantage of the darkness to punch him from behind. He recognizes that the man is Luo Dabao, who spoke against him, joining the class 1 earlier. Dabao uses a talisman to attack him, but Zaolin interrupts the fight and points her sword at his throat. They look around and somehow spot the real Dabao behind them, who is yelling and challenging Lin outside the dormitory building. But before they act, the imposter jumps forward to attack Zaolin, but Lin steps in front of her and blocks it. Zaolin takes advantage and attacks the imposter, but he managed to fly away. The next day, Lin noticed everyone hates him, and so he decided to work hard in class to prove the people who look down on him wrong. But reality hates him. During the lecture, he does not understand their teaching method, and most teachers don't even show up in their human form. He further becomes more disappointed when Miss Evan teaches everyone how to play a mobile game and leases off, but the most absurd of all the instructor Minzo, who makes them fall asleep for the whole lecture so they can analyze their dream later. Lin wakes up and gets instructed by Miss Evan to spare the class monitor Xuan Yun Cheng Sai. Zalin does not approve this battle as Lin's cultivation level is way lower when compared to Cheng and decided to attack him with fireballs, but Cheng does not even need to try hard. He simply blocks the attacks and uses a spirit formation to restrain her. Lin notices Zaolin at a disadvantage and interrupts their battle. He unleashes a strange power that makes him get the power of one realm higher than he currently has. Lin tries to send a flying punch, but his opponent dodges and binds him with some spiritual chains and tries to use the formation tracer to defeat Lin. Cheng's attack fails because Lin missed his previous punch on purpose to hit the formation weak spot. All of this result is Lin getting increase in cultivation level to the 4th stage. Lin immediately asks for 130 spiritual stone to complete his next system quest to reach the 5th stage. Cheng gives him 5000 spiritual stones instead, as they are used like a money in the spiritual world. On the next day, the system informed Lin about the upcoming battle for freedom, a survival competition. The system considered it a special quest which he cannot reject. Furthermore, to complete it, he must reach the top 50 or he will be transformed into a girl for 1 year. He focused on the improving his cultivation by absorbing spiritual stones, reaching the 7th stage, but he knows that he is still weak to reach a top 50 position. He quickly starts to desperately request the system for another quest and way to improve, and the system tells him that he can increase his cultivation if he beats a cultivator of the 9th stage or above. He quickly remembers that Zaolin is above the 9th stage and tries to ask her to let him win in multiple fights, but in the end he ends up asking for another things like the essence of mountain pales to help cultivate a powerful skill called mountain quaking fist. He further asks her if she can provide him with information about his opponent in the competition. He then attempts to ask Cheng to fight him and take it easy, but he only agrees to tell him his weakness. Without any reliable option, Lin finally mustered up his courage and asked Zhaolin to let him sneak attack her, but she misinterprets it as a love confession. In the next day, he tried to sneak attack Zhaolin and with a spiritual formation, but he accidentally touched her in the wrong place, making her run away in anger. While running, she threw at him the essence of mountain pills and a copy of information he asked for before. After returning, Lin eats a pill meant to clean his body from impurities. He just don't know that cleanness his body means he will have to suffer from diarrhea for the next 13 days. In the restroom, Lin starts to think about how to solve this problem and competition will start in 10 days, but he must use the restroom for the next 13 days. On the next day, Chen comes to ask Lin why he missed class but misunderstands that he is suffering from an internal demon. Cheng starts to chant the Heart Sutra, which is speed up him cleansing process. Lin requests Cheng to continue chanting the sutra for the next few days to speed up the process. 10 days later, Lin is forced to join the competition with 3% remaining to finish his body cleanness. One of the elders explained rules which are straightforward. The more opponent you defeat, the higher rank you get. The elder also casts the golden light spell to protect the student. The spell will break once the student takes too much damage. After the spell is broken, the student will be teleported back to safety. Lin and Dabao get teleported to the same location, which scared Dabao out as he cannot deal with Lin, who had just reached the 7th cultivation stage. Lin approached Dabao and break his sword just to ask the scared Dabao if he has some toilet paper, who simply answered no. Lin then heads out to complete his body cleanness process and hides on bushes, but a group spot him while he is on his last 1%. He buys time by convincing them to fight each other, and he finally finishes his massive dump. He completes the quest, reaching the 8th stage, and gets a new skill, Mountain Quaking Fist. He immediately tests out his new skill on the 4 guys and sends them out of the competition. Later, he meets Dabao, who takes him to his hideout. There, he meets a group of almost 300 students requesting to be gently eliminated from the competition because they don't want to get seriously injured, making Lin's raise 40,000 spots in the ranking. Later, a cultivator imbues him, but a girl saves him. Lin recognizes that the girl is Lao Zhaotian, nicknamed the #1 god killing. Zhaotian challenged him to a game, which she asked 100 questions about the mortal world. If he answers correctly, he will become a member of her Liu Club. Otherwise, she will chop his head off. After answering all the questions, they go to Blackrock Peak to complete Lin's quest and increase his cultivation level. Upon arriving there, he starts cultivating a martial skill named Earth Lotus, divine art. By absorbing an earth energy, the energy further informs him he will be able to beat a spiritual rarity cultivator. After cultivating this skill, Lin suddenly spots a man who introduced himself as a Cheng Chin, telling him that he's been waiting for him, but soon disappeared. Lin and Zhao Tian, we both end up spending the whole night playing mobile games. But the sun rises and Zhao Tian asks Lin if they are friends. He says yes, but she accuses him for lying to her the whole time. She asks why he has been using his power for the whole time. After reaching the Blackrock Peak, he tries to explain to her that he's been cultivating since he got there, but she does not believe him and starts to gather energy to attack him. Suddenly, the system forces Lin to use his new skill on her. Zhao Tian summons her sword and strikes Lin, but stops after noticing his cultivation into overnight. She then asks about his secret of quick learning. Lin gives up and tries to tell her the truth about the system, but she still does not believe. He then shows up at the essence of Mountain Peak, telling her she will have diarrhea if she eats it. She decides to eat it and check if he is telling the truth or not. Her body starts reacting as it starts to absorb the pill, but Lin uses his new martial art skill to relieve her from diarrhea. Before leaving, Zhao Tian gives him her headband, which can be used as a protection against spirit nourishing level cultivator. Lin ignores the guys and looks for Zhao Lian and interrupts her fight with Ajay and his group and reveals why Ajay is the person who tried to abuse Lin by disguising himself as a Dabao. He also the one who put a bounty on him. Lin uses his new skill to defeat everyone in the group with one punch each. As a result, his cultivation improved to the 9th stage. Meanwhile, his friend Cheng fight against Wang Shu, who is the winner of the previous year competition, and at the same time threat to kill all the disciples if Cheng does not fight him. Cheng requests Lin and all students to unite and help him to deploy spiritual formation to defeat Wang Chu, but both get beaten as Wang starts to use lightning skill all over the place. One of the lightning strike is heading to Lin, but Cheng appears. He stops the attack with one finger and disappears. After asking Lin if he has already learned that skill, the system informed Lin that he need to beat Wang to reach the top 50. Lin quickly eliminates Zhao Lin and Dabao from the competition as he does not want them to get hurt, and quickly call Wang out to fight. Wang uses his golden dragon spear and attack with lightning. Lin first uses mountain quaking fist technique to attack him, but it has no effect. Lin then mimics Cheng's move to the heavy splitting finger and quickly defeat Wang. The backs up 10 days. Later, he quickly noticed that everyone is treating him differently. They all now admire him and consider him the strongest person instead of seeing him as an easy target. 1 month later, Lin and Cheng are declared as divine messengers of the spiritual world. They will carry out the mission of sealing the demonic pagoda and exterminating the demon king from the mortal world. Lin and his group depart for their mission into the mortal world. When they reach the mortal world in Tang Lingling, a member of the Alliance of Cultivation, she tells them she will provide them assistance in their mission and takes them to the headquarters. Inside her aircraft, where they end up meeting the president of Alliance of Cultivation, Yuan, one of the members, Tain Shigu, informed Lin and his group that they have already carried out the mission. They have already captured the demon god and are only fighting the disciples of the demon cult. Therefore, the trios is not needed, not only because they are late, but also they are weak. Suddenly, an alarm starts to ring and everyone is informed that Blood Clan's warrior has also joined forces with demon cult. Tain Shigu once again asks the trio to leave, but Lin challenges him to fight. If he wins, they will allow the trio to join the battle. Tin Ling attack him instead of her father, Tin Shigu, and start beating Lin. Around after getting hit several times, Lin starts to manage to block her attacks. He then uses his ultimate speed to change toward Tain Shigu and uses the illusion technique Cry Baby, making Tain Shigu cry. Even gets in front of Tain Shigu to block Lin's punch and challenge him to a fight. Ivan attack him with her power, which forces Lin to save Ten Ling from the attack. He then uses his divine almighty technique to suppress her attack. After defeating her, Ivan finally admits her defeat and allows the trio to help by ordering Ten Ling and Lin to investigate the enemy. They teleport to a ghost valley and Ling quickly warns Lin to be careful of the poisonous mist. Lin uses his divine eyes to see through the mist and discover that some enemies are hiding there. He then detoxifies the mist poisoners. After entering the mist alone and quickly get out, while inside he made all the hiding enemies cry with his technique, but the two cannot beat them, so he requests the headquarters for reinforcement. Zhao Lin and Cheng join them, but they suddenly lose contact with the headquarters. The group ends up noticing that the enemies have stopped crying. Suddenly, the enemies attack them. One of the blood gods grabs Lin and fly away. She chokes him and then throws him from the sky. Zhao Lin tries to save him while he falls out. A demon god strikes Lin with lightning. Tian Lin and Cheng hold their fights with the demon gods, and Zhao Lin tried to rush towards the collapsed Lin, but a blood god attacks her with sound wave and once again flies away with Lin and tries to bite his neck, but the unconscious Lin uses his power and manages to escape from her. He starts to fall from the air until a portal suddenly opens. A mysterious hand from the portal take him away. Lin wakes up inside the portal and the system suggests he should use his ring given by Kailing. He uses the ring. Kailing suddenly appeared to save him and bring him out to the portal. She then showcases her power by quickly defeating their enemy. Then they all notice a strange feather girl approaching them. Watch this next video. See you on the next.